Happy Halloween.
Hey, this week I felt like an athlete.
Yeah?
This time, yeah. This is probably the first time I legitimately felt like an athlete. Somebody on the comment section was like, stick to cards. Don't talk about soccer. That was probably the coolest moment. I'm not going to lie. That was probably the coolest moment. Yeah, man. Last podcast, we triggered a ton of people. I thought I was going to be the only one that triggered it, but you guys triggered some people too, apparently.
What did I do?
I don't know.
You were on your Gary Neville shit.
I don't even think we actually alluded to what I was saying. I just said like, relax. It's just a fucking card. Like, I think that's.
Don't know. But yeah, it was funny though, like that someone said that. I was like, stick to cards. You don't know nothing about football. I'm like, all right, man.
I mean,
I never said we did.
Yeah.
Do you see what we're wearing?
Yeah, I mean, look at this.
Look at the name of the podcast, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
welcome to Slab House podcast, where we talk about soccer cards.
Kind of.
Yes. No, we have a really good topic for today. There's so much to talk about. There was a question on the Discord 2 weeks ago that was so good that we had to dedicate an episode for this. Okay?
Yep.
But we'll talk about that later. I guess we'll talk about our Halloween. What's our scariest? What are you scared of most in the hobby? Such a dark thing.
The comment section.
The comment section.
That's what truly scares me the most.
That's too funny.
I look at it and I just cry every night.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate you throwing down comments though.
Yeah,
no. I know a lot of y'all are
facetious.
trying to help and everything like that, but sometimes it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
But how about you, Will? What are you most scared of in the hobby?
Dude, I was not prepared for this question. I'm scared of this question because
scared of this question.
Yeah, because I'm blanking right now.
You're blanking?
What are you scared of?
I'm scared of base cards, man. That's it.
Base cards.
I never want to see base cards in my life.
Some base cards are okay.
No.
Pre 2014, I'll take.
Just get rid of them all. Jokes on jokes. But
I don't know if you're joking, man.
I don't know either. I'm just trying not to hurt people's feelings right now.
Well,
Oh, you were gonna say something you're scared of?
You got something now?
Yeah, I just thought of something.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Did you see the Jeff Wilson episode? You're saying like how like things are going to go down like because of the holiday season.
Oh, that's what you said?
Yeah.
It's like
a pattern. So I'm curious to see how it will affect soccer because soccer has its own like he was talking more about like basketball, American football, baseball being like it's usually like the next 2 months are down and then January goes up. But I'm just curious on like what the soccer pattern is.
So okay, I think overall the market. So I've done no research, but from the years I've collected, sold.
Yeah, we have no app that
there's no
looks at analytics
right now. Right? I have no qualitative or quantitative. Or wait,
going off instinct.
Instincts, yeah.
There we go.
I'm an instinctual player.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just fuck eBay. Comments.
Yeah, we have no SLI sellers app that tracks analytics, guys.
Yeah. So typically what I've seen is it gets interesting. Most of the hobby does slow down, right? You're going to start seeing a lot of like just negativity on how the market's dying. I mean, you kind of see that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's also consumer spending, though. Right?
Yeah, I think, but that's the overall global market. You see what's going on. But there is opportunities to make your bread, your peas, like your money. Right? It's so funny.
The beans.
I've never heard someone say peas before.
Really?
No,
That's
never.
No.
British. That's British people.
Oh, maybe because I'm
Really?
Pizza, boy?
Okay, well, too. Okay.
Oh, because
Get
pens,
pizza, mate.
peas. Okay, I got that.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful English accent. I felt like I was there. It's Mary Poppins. next to me.
Anyways, that's not the point. The point is there's definitely going to be opportunities. So, for example, I think box prices are like you got to start thinking about what are people trying to buy for the holiday season. And typically it's like boxes, right? So, if you want to try to cash out of some sort, it might be interesting to see if you could trade a card for like wax and sell it there through that, right?
Or even collectibles, right?
There are collectibles, but what I've seen is boxes are really what kind of moves quicker than usual.
Got it.
So,
Interesting.
you like that?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. So
Now I know how to make my beans during the holiday period.
These are peas, bro.
I thought we were just saying other words now.
No, that's legitimate. Like,
No, I
making
know.
things up.
I'm just
Make your
making.
Cheerios during.
Yeah, your Cheerios.
So let's talk about the Ballon d'Or. I think there's no surprise. Definitely seen a lot more outrage than I expected.
Lots of posts.
A lot of posts of people just really, I'm glazing, also like hating, just seemed like no one was happy at all.
Okay, before we like talk about it though, do you agree? Yes or no? Should have Messi won?
Yes.
100%.
Yes, for me as well. Okay, great.
Would you be mad if Holland won?
No.
No. I would have understood. He had the best year in the Prem from a goal scoring
First year.
perspective ever.
First
He
year.
broke the record.
Won the
for a
trophy.
single season.
Exactly.
What did Messi do? He won the fucking World Cup, bro.
Yeah.
I could
An
walk
amazing
out
year.
here right now, but this is my apartment, so I need to be here.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, but I would say big ups to Monty. That was super sick. I got to see like some of her story and anything like that. That was really cool. And yeah, I think what's interesting the most about from a car perspective is Messi wins it, but also seeing Bonmati win it and seeing how you could project that. Because like I feel like women's football is like super early.
Yep.
Like we're seeing like kind of like no disrespect, it just hasn't been there as long, right? Like the 1950s World Cup basically.
Yeah.
Right, but this is for like women's, right? So you're starting to see like when we grow, when it starts to mature a little bit more, when there's actually equality, all that craziness that we have to get out of the way. We're gonna look back and be like, oh, Bonmati was the winner, right? Or Pateos was the winner.
I mean,
we're gonna actually really hammer that home.
I gotta say, like Spanish football right now is, in my opinion, like worlds above U.S. football from like a Ballon d'Or winning perspective. Like you have Pateos, you have Bonmati. Like that team in and of itself was significantly better right now than the U.S. team. And sometimes you need the reality check, and I think us losing in the World Cup is going to be a reality check for next time. We got a lot of youth coming through, so I'm excited about that.
But yeah,
I think we'll see that for the next World. Like,
but it's something
Ballon
to
d'Ors.
talk about because I know like for us, I know John, you collect women's soccer players a lot, but I think a lot of times it's still like a very small section within a small section of the hobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
but yeah, any other thoughts about Ballon d'Or? I didn't see anything else that I really want to talk about.
I mean, I think the big thing is like the with the Holland and Messi thing is just like Messi had a like worst supporting cast to win the biggest tournament in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, but I do get like to give Holland a shout. Like I do get why like some people feel like he got gypped a little bit for it. But like once Messi won the World Cup, we kind of all knew that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that performance was. I mean, you look at Maradona, you look at Pele during their World Cup wins. Like, I think that's carrying their team to the end of that World Cup. I think Messi was as good as any performance.
I mean, Emma Martinez won best goalkeeper, so I mean,
That was the weirdest one.
yeah. But seeing Jude win it, right? The Copa, right?
Yeah.
So like seeing that happen was pretty cool. I mean,
Yo, Jude Bellingham. We gotta talk.
if he keeps going, I mean, it's what's the argument, right?
I mean, he's going to be the next to the throne.
But
for
do you
sure.
think like I was wondering, what if he doesn't win La Liga or Champions League? Does he still win Ballon d'Or? And he keeps this like rate up.
I think the argument gets a little bit tougher. I mean, like, define like what's the end of the season like goal? Like he's the best
Second place,
top scorer in the
top scorer for Real Madrid.
Okay.
I think he needs to win at least one trophy, like at least the domestic.
Just a thought. So, okay.
I still think Holland's like the closest out of the new kids to winning a Ballon d'Or next year.
I mean, if you just look at the ranking now, but I don't know.
A lot can change. I'm just saying.
A lot can change.
change.
A split second can change. Look at Mbappe, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I think he needs to do more from a national team level, in my opinion. I know what more can you really build upon from like a club success right now? He won the treble, had one of the best statistical seasons ever for like a striker in the Prem. Like, what more can he really do? And that's doing something for Norway, bringing them to the Euros, making noise there.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what you have to do. And right now, like, that team's tough. Like, it's not as easy, and the Euros are not easy to get into by any means. But I think that's what the next step is to get into that 100% going to win the Ballon d'Or conversation.
I think this year it'll be less of national stuff. I think it's just when it comes to World Cup year and Euros, Copa, like it becomes a little tougher. It becomes a little bit more meaningful.
This is also going to be like the first year without like Messi, Ronaldo for sure.
Chrome, man. You get Chrome. I don't even know what happens with Chrome.
Yeah, what happens to the spots without Messi?
Yeah. Like, what do we do? But yeah, that's pretty cool. But so the big section of this podcast. Of course, we do a lot of things with cards, and funny enough, we actually don't do a lot of prospecting. But I feel like when we actually put our minds to it, doing prospecting is actually a really simple game. It really is, because you technically don't even really need to know soccer. You know what I mean? You literally could go in there and just kind of do a numbers game and really figure out which prospects are there, know a little bit, understand what type of sets they have, and you could probably make a very educated guess or bet if they'll pop off, and you'll make some decent beans, you would say, right?
Yeah.
But here, we had somebody in the Discord ask us, who are your top rookies that you're chasing? And I thought it would be kind of fun that you guys have your top 5 that you feel like is chasing. Again, we did our research on this stuff, but also don't go blind, right? Do your own research, take it with a grain of salt, but use it kind of like as a baseline. Maybe you like something that we said, maybe you don't like what we said, figure out why, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I'll also just preface, like, I don't really prospect a lot, so I'm giving my like list of rookies that I like, and I think the question, like, to just add more detail, was like, now that we're like done with sort of the product cycle, which rookies kind of have sort of risen their stock a little bit more through the product cycle.
Yeah,
that's from what I remember. That was my interpretation of it.
Yeah. So since all the big sets have been released, we kind of have an idea of like all the rookies, like all their sets are pretty much out there. It'll be good to talk about who we feel coming into this coming year is gonna be more, right? So, all right. So top 5. I guess we could start one by one and go from there. It doesn't have to be any order, and we could just discuss. So, John, I know you've been working hard. You texted me. You're excited about this, bro.
Well, I actually want to hear your because you don't prospect. So I
don't. Yeah.
I want to hear. No,
it's true.
I also have a list of like I have a good amount. So it's like if you want to go first, I don't want to do the same one. So
He's babying you.
I'm not babying. I just want to see what he says.
Just trying to think of a comeback. All right. God damn it.
No, it's actually being genuine. I actually genuinely want to know your
Brian's
prospect.
just trying to incite.
I'm not trying to say it was true.
Pokes.
All right, so who's your number 1 right now?
I thought we're not doing any order. All right, number 1 though.
Your first one that you want to throw out.
Fair. I would say Julian Alvarez has impressed me the most. I think I thought he was gonna be just a like backup striker to Haaland, but because of the KDB injury, he's getting the minutes. I know he's in basically all of the sets, but he's actually getting goals. He's provided crucial goals to win games in the Prem, and he just with the consistent game time, I'm actually really impressed with him. And it's, rumors is like maybe, someone like Madrid might be looking at him or something like that. I don't know if he'll move to a different team, but he's still young enough that he could.
Okay. Julian Alvarez. I mean, that's a popular one that everybody talks about. I just feel like he has a lot of cards. That's my issue with him.
That is a con.
And it goes back to your World Cup thing, right? Do you just go to his World Cup prism? Oh boy. Do you go to his
adrenaline, his
adrenaline?
He does have. I mean, shout outs to the comments. He does have earlier stuff like adrenaline.
He does.
And
he
stickers
does.
from River Plate. Plate.
Oh boy. Oh boy, Will. Okay, just keep going.
I know it's Plate.
Is it?
I don't think so, man. It's River Plate.
Is it Plate?
Yeah.
Shit.
I don't know. Maybe that's.
Well, maybe I'm wrong, but I've always said River Plate.
Me
but
too.
Really? Can someone tell me?
Yeah.
In the comments?
I'm sorry. Don't worry.
I'm not Argentine. I'm Ecuadorian. So yeah.
So
I'm Filipino, so I don't know shit.
I guess my issue with Julian Alvarez is that like he has so many sets. I would say if we go deeper in this, right? Like which set would you actually prioritize?
Yeah, no, and that's a great thing. Like there are like pros and cons with this. Again, like my interpretation of the question was like just like whose stock has risen post product cycle, and he's in basically every product, so that's a con. But I would say like outside of, as I said, like the World Cup Prism, like I think Sapphire, him having his first Sapphires, really interesting. I think also, I mean you can't go wrong with like Chrome or anything like that. Also like Merlin as well, but yeah, he's a player that's like impressed me from like a footballing sense.
But like, it was. I guess I'm just helping. Like if someone's like new that's watching this, like they hear Chrome, they go out and buy it out $399.
Fair.
Would that be a great idea from like a investment?
Okay, yeah. If we're talking in terms of card value, maybe I can let's switch it up to players then, because I don't think from like a I don't know. I thought I prepped the list and now my list isn't good.
It's just genuine questions, right? Because I think it's fair to ask these things.
I think Alvarez is in the discussion. It's just like you can't be buying like a really high number. Like if you want to buy like an out of 5, hold it and like hope that goes up over time. I think that's justified.
I will say his out 5s are probably not as expensive as we
No,
think
definitely not.
I would say you want to go for like either the short print stuff like color blasts, white sparkles, or low numbered stuff.
I can see that. Something with that's not high QC.
Yeah,
that's going to be tough to grade.
Yeah, I was saying if you go through high QC, select is really tough to grade.
Mm-hmm.
You could finagle your way in where it's like if you're looking out of 99, you could get, if you know the gem rate's only like 20%, a PSA 10 will get you a long way. And at the time, it might not look like it, but overall, there's gonna be set collectors that want these sets. Like what I've noticed about prospecting is that they don't just get 1 or 2 cards; they're trying to get the set, boy.
I would say for a player like Alvarez though, with where he's in like all of the sets, you want to just have, I would say, quality over quantity though.
Yeah, it's gone the game because back then, I would say back then, like a few years ago, it's like you would grade all these refractors or silvers.
Yep.
And you just put them on the market.
Or even like out of 150s.
Out
stuff
150s,
like that.
right? I still think there's opportunity. It's just that it becomes much, much harder now.
You got to be first to market. That's
It's
that's
all about
really
being first to market. It's a tougher game nowadays.
And there's something to be said. Like if you get a new set, you submit to PSA and you don't like express it if it's something you really want to. Like you really have to think if it's going to come back in 3 months, what can happen? Is the person going to have a gambling problem? Is the person going to get injured? Is the person
do your research?
Do your research. No, I think there's a lot to think about, and like you can make a case like. And I'm not saying like go to SGC. I'm not espousing that because I don't personally do it myself. But something to be said, if you can get that back in 20 days, turn it around and grade it, if it's like a 9.5 or a 10, still, if you're first to market, it's still going to make a difference.
So it's like think about like random things like a silver prism. I was looking at a silver prism just on the computer right now. I think it's sold for like $100 or something like that. Getting that for like $5, grading it for $20, you can make some bread like that.
Yeah.
So, but you have to be quicker. You have to be fast. Whereas like when's out, if you're starting to do your studies of like select the prisms, right? If you know Prism World Cup choice is hard to grade, maybe a PSA 10 is worth trying to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I know this is different from like the usual thing we've been saying on the podcast where it's like the rookies that are like in that 1 or 2 set.
Yeah, but I think it's hard to ignore.
No, it's hard.
Alvarez, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's hard.
I have a few Alvarez.
I feel like
Same.
You know what I mean? Like it's why wouldn't you have him in your collection? It's just like if you want something safe, it's the easiest thing to say. Okay, get someone that has only fucking 1 rookie card. And that's only like 3 players.
That's why I feel like I had to include him on this.
Okay.
Yeah, you almost took him off, but it's fine.
Yeah, you almost changed your entire thing.
2 minutes ago, you're like,
hey,
you
guys are bullies, all right?
No, I don't.
We're asking questions, bro.
I did the same.
Not all of a sudden we're like mean. Okay, all right. How about you, John?
All right, my number 1, Matisse Tell. So,
Dude,
So, 1 rookie, Merlin 2021. I mean, that set, not the easiest to grade. 7 goal contributions for Bayern this year. I think he has a goal contribution every like 60 minutes or something. I think that's the highest rate in the Bundesliga. His incredibly fast. I think he tops out at like 21 miles an hour or 34 km.
You had a radar?
Yeah, I was checking it out.
You're in.
I was.
You're in Munich?
Yeah, pretty much, man. And then he's 18, French. I mean, he's going to be the next crop of French wingers. I don't know how Dembele or Coman or all these guys are going to make it to the next World Cup. I think Tell is going to be that guy that is the super sub off the bench, can make noise. Again, also with only 1 true Merlin rookie. I mean, yes, the prices are a little bit higher for it, but I don't know. I think if you're looking to make waves with somebody, I think that's someone that he scores in a World Cup, he scores in a Champions League. You can see those prices kind of fluctuate a little bit more. And with something like this, where you're just trying to prospect, I think that's kind of what you're looking for.
I mean, he has everything that you kind of want in like a card, right? You want to number 1 is like, is he in limited sets? Yes, I think he has like literally 1 true hobby rookie.
Yep.
I think he has other
It's
like
just Merlin, really.
yeah, I think he has other maybe curated sets, but even then they don't really matter as much.
Yeah.
And also it's like he plays for Bayern. They're gonna win championships, right? He's super young. He plays on the French national team.
Yeah.
So it's like all the makings of like some crazy ass like movement. And I was just literally looking, his freaking Al 275 is a best offer of $200. It was listed at $200, so let's just say 125 for Al 275 PSA 10.
I saw an out of 250 do like 70, which is still
That's a lot.
Well, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
For like our standards now, right? But like even then for him, that's the same card that could go 150.
Yeah.
If he pops off in the Champions League, let's say Harry Kane gets hurt.
Yeah.
It's an interesting movement.
I think also he's a player that doesn't need game time. Like he shows that he can do it off the bench.
Yep.
Which is I think really big for those like big moments in especially in the Champions League.
Oh yeah, he's an incredible talent. Like I don't want to keep touting him, but
yeah,
he's just
and no one's really talking about him very much. But the price difference says otherwise.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the most full as how like that's your way of like just flipping on a week to week basis.
For context, I think that out of 250 at 67 is 6 times or 5 times Gavi, which is the same rookie from the same year.
That's insane.
So
that's just gnarly.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I mean, not saying Gavi's bad by any means, but the quantity of rookies does have something at play there.
I will say we're just talking about like the market and stuff like that. One tough thing about Tell is and I think we see this in prospecting, it's like when to let go, right? Because he does have a lot of potential and it's like, you know, it could go from him making a winning goal to, you know, book Bayern into the semis to then him starting in the semis or making it to the finals, right? And so like there are going to be a lot of stops to let go and just like not getting too greedy. I think is like his biggest con.
Yeah. It reminds me of Coman, right? When he scored in Champions League that one time, and everybody started buying Coman. You gotta let it go. Just let it rip. Unless you have a really big card of like a 1/1. Even then, I would still consider it.
I would make a case for like Merlin, anything 10 or below. Like unless someone's offering you crazy money, like those are cards that I know they don't come up because a lot of collectors are holding them.
Yeah. So and smart collectors.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good show. I'm trying to poke holes in what these tell, but it's he has everything that you kind of want. You know,
he's having a great year. Like
everything you really want.
I will say there was a point in time where he wasn't making as much noise, and I think that's where that was a good time to probably get in and buy.
But even then, right now, it's still a decent time. Like, he's scoring, but no one's really picking it up right now.
Yeah, because also a lot of focus is on Kane and Musiala.
Yeah,
and that's the other thing, right? Is that like you have those like players that are kind of shielding this player, but you don't really know which one will really pop off.
Yeah, and I guess I want to preface. I don't know if you guys are gonna say it or not, but like I'm hoping we don't have Musiala and Jude on the list just because. Like,
no, they're not on my list
because it's very obvious.
Yeah,
right? Those are the obvious ones. I think we're going with the underground ones, the ones that people really dig deep on.
Yeah. I wouldn't say as much as underground, but it's still pretty.
Yeah, then the underground. Yeah, underground is like saying like a ding roast.
Like Bradley Barcola.
Like,
no shade. Like that's like that could be the next crop of rookies next year, but that's gonna be or Lamine Yamal or whatever. Like,
yeah. I mean that's not underground.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
All right, what's your number 2, Will?
I'd go with Evan Ferguson.
Okay,
I think
good shout.
Good shout.
I think he's
scored
playing
again.
Yeah.
The man on a mission.
Yeah.
I think he's really good. I think also I like the way that Brighton's managing him.
Yeah.
And I think you also don't see good man management from a lot of teams. So like the way that they're being really careful with him, he's looking really good. I think that Brighton's a very attacking team. So even though their defense has been a bit porous lately, that doesn't really affect his value. And then also he's just super young. There's not really any big, big over 6 foot mobile striker, kind of young striker coming out. You mostly have these like kind of like pacey strikers. So he has that different build and he has that sort of Premier League tax on it. So whatever he goes for, it's going to be just big money. It's going to get a headline. And I think that's going to be really big. And he has a huge fandom nationality wise as well.
Yep.
And he's only in a very few sets. Like I know
he's in 3 sets.
He's in like 3 sets.
He was on my list to a degree. Yeah. So it's 3 sets: Select, IMAC, and Chronicles, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he has a sticker as well that might be interesting. Like one of those things where you buy it for 25 cents or pence.
Yeah, 25 cents. That's an interesting play.
It's an interesting play to get it like a PSA 10. So yeah, Evan Ferguson. Brighton is such like Borussia Dortmund. You know what I mean?
It's amazing to watch.
It's like the same exact route that I'm like watching again.
Yeah, like 20.
Like
13.
anybody on Dortmund with Jadon Sancho, right? I'm trying to think who else was on there that like pick up.
Aubameyang,
Aubameyang,
Dembele.
Yeah.
Dembele, yeah.
Dembele, like it's like the same.
I mean,
like,
Holland, of course.
Gundogan.
Gundogan, like all these guys that are like
Royce,
they were on the team.
Goetze.
You get that tax. There's gonna be a Brighton tax, and the fact that Evan Ferguson only has 3 and he scores too.
Yeah. I mean, he's 18, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to get a big move. I'm sure someone's going to. I would say Man U if they didn't have Højlund or Garnacho.
But
I could see him making a big move somewhere.
imagine if it's like Madrid.
That's what I was thinking too.
Madrid would actually be interesting.
It would be.
It'll be weird, but
It'd be weird, but it would be cool.
Yeah, yeah. I also think that with Ferguson's gem rates, they have just room to just go crazy. And
Select, baby.
Because you would think João Pedro would have taken the striker because they paid a lot of money for him, but the Ferguson is still inching his way into starting lineup.
He's like, I'm fairly sure Zerbi loves him.
Yeah.
It's just that Zerbi just manages him really well.
I mean, he's still so young, and they still have Welbeck, who like again, he's not the same as he used to be, but
He has
he's
Obsidian too.
Oh, Obsidian. So 4 technically. My bad.
iMac, impeccable. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah, Danny Welbeck does.
It's big 5 sets,
But
whatever.
yeah, I mean, like the select field level and like Obsidian like floods would be probably what like I would tackle.
I missed that flood. That was such a great card.
You pulled a.
That was the Contra, yeah.
You pulled a Contra, yeah. That's
that was
insane.
beauty. That color match was crazy.
yeah. Like I wouldn't say go out and buy like crazy amount, but like because he has only 3 sets or 5 sets, getting his like because I remember having a red prism.
I was gonna say it's like a trade night play.
Yeah, I sold that with ease. So like those are things that you know we are typically saying, oh, always buy things that are numbered, but in this case there's only 3 or sorry, I'm saying 3. Look what you did to me, man.
Yeah,
5 or 6 sets where he's in is a good play to have.
Yeah, regardless, it's still less than 12. It's less than.
Yeah.
He's not in EPL Prism, which is kind of crazy as well.
Or Revolution, which is also wild.
Yeah. Revolution he completely missed him.
I remember you were complaining about selling it at Burbank because remember you sold it at trade night and
It's over too low.
Hattie.
He scored a hat trick the day after.
Yeah.
Like if you look at his, another interesting shout is Leaf, right? Like I mean, they're not
Autos.
licensed, but he has autos there.
Yep.
So that does play a role. Like you don't have to be big balling and be spending like a lot of money. I think that's the point of this video.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to poke holes in Evan Ferguson, man.
That's a
Anything
good one.
else? He's Irish. That's it.
I mean, he just won't have as. I don't know. With an expanded field, you can make a case like I don't know if he wills that team to win.
Yeah.
Like it could be the next thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just looking at something real quick. So we're good.
Yeah, but
Cool.
Irish fans are also crazy.
Oh yeah.
They are crazy
because they've been hurt.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right.
They've definitely had
I mean,
a tough.
Like
few
they
years.
lost what Grealish and
Yeah. I
Rice.
didn't want to bring it up, but
The World Cup, Henry. That they never let that go.
Yeah.
So all right. So you said Evan Ferguson.
Yeah.
That was a good shout. How about you?
All right. Florian Wirtz.
Yeah, Florian versus
Wow, going back to 2020, yeah.
Well, I mean, he's only in 4 rookie sets. So
And what are those?
Bundesliga Chrome Tier 1 Bundes, which is where he has the autos, which are super expensive, but those are like. He also has Bundesliga Chrome autos. He has Finest Bundesliga, and then he has Sapphire Bundesliga. So really only Bundesliga that year. 13 goal contributions in 13 games. Dude's on another level right now. Leverkusen's high octane. Probably I think that's going to be with Boniface as well, one of the sneakier picks for like a deep run. Also 20 years old. He's going to be the face of Germany with Musiala. He's going to get a move to. I'd be surprised if Bayern doesn't make a play for him very soon. They already are talks about it.
He's been linked with Real Madrid as well, and Leverkusen's also I think one of the few teams that are still undefeated in all competitions.
He's a beast. Like
I'm pretty sure, but don't.
I mean,
quote me
that's
on that.
definitely not a cheaper option to buy. But
That's
in terms
expensive.
But in terms of someone that's not in, I mean, Tell and him are both, I guess, on a similar wavelength in terms of like they're not super cheap to buy, but in terms of, and he's also German. Like they have to do better than they're doing right now. I like the fact that the new coach they have as well, Nagelsmann. I think that he's going to lead them a little bit better than Hansi Flick for the last few years. So
I do think my concern with Wirtz, he's killing it, number one. Like he looked amazing against USA.
yeah,
Like he
and the
very,
last game too.
very little touches but very definitely touches. But with Verts, I'm scared that because he had that really big push, like from a price perspective. I'm just looking through his prices right now.
And it hasn't really fallen, and like I haven't found really.
Well, they have fallen though.
Well, they've fallen and they've crawled back up. Because I've
tad bit.
I've looked at the tier 1. Yeah, tad bit. I've looked at the tier 1. I remember there was a Dallas show we went to 2 Januaries ago where someone had like a number tier 1 auto for like 1,400. I think right now it's relatively close to that same number.
Yeah,
what
but
I will say as like a con is it's a lot of money. Yeah, he's an expensive player.
Not really. I mean,
you don't think so?
You're seeing out of 250 purple finance that used to go for like 150.
That's like 75.
Under $100 now, bro.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I'm talking about autos. If we're talking about autos, yeah, it's an expensive auto because he has like 2 main autos.
Like his stuff isn't really making very much sense right now, so maybe we're just really early. That's number one, maybe. But number 2 is like I get a little worried just because what happens, right? They get hot and they don't prove it. It's over. Like they don't give them a second chance. You have to come back even better than you were, right? And he is.
Yeah, I'd say he's come back significantly better.
But there's also all this attraction towards Musiala. You know, you have all this attraction to Jude. Like, where's the space for him? And I think hate to say it, if he makes the move to Bayern, I don't know if that necessarily helps him.
I don't know, man.
Harry Kane.
I mean,
he scored a hat trick.
But that's the Harry Kane market though, man. Like that's a different market in general.
I don't know, man.
And that's a relatively consistent market. It's like what's his true rookie? Like the stickers from like 2014.
Yes, but overall, from his cards perspective, like it just did. Like yeah, it's picking up, but it should do a little bit more.
I mean, you can
like,
make.
Unfortunately, Bayern is too dominant sometimes. I think Musiala is because he's so young.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a leeway.
And he came from the academy.
Matisse Tell, he's 18, right? He's keeping up. They haven't really screwed it up, right?
Yeah.
Verts had that ACL injury that really screwed it up. My concern is if Bayern Leverkusen doesn't show out in Europe, and he makes that move to like Munich.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's going to be tough for me.
My counter would be he's going to be playing with Musiala for the next 10 years if he's healthy.
I think for Germany.
Regardless. Like, how many times have you seen Bayern produce players that are going to go play in Germany and they're going to keep that team together? Like, that's what, 2014? Mueller, all those guys, Schweinsteiger, all those guys. I think you can make a case that if Wirtz reaches his full potential with Musiala, they're going to be a midfield tandem to, like, reckon with at this point. And I think, I don't know. I get your point, but if you want to take that risk, I think Wirtz is a lot more solidified than a lot of these other guys.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we're just early. I think that's my feeling right now, that we're just early.
My perception's actually, I feel like there's still that expectation on him. Like, I feel like, you know, maybe his stuff isn't expensive, but my perception is, like, whenever I see Wirtz at shows, it feels like it's still priced in. And so, yeah, I am just worried about, like, he needs to go, like what will make him go nuclear? And I just don't really know, because I also don't know where, like, he'll fit on a transfers outside of going to Bayern. Like, Madrid has Bellingham, like, Arsenal has Odegaard, you know, Man City has, like, Alvarez.
If Leverkusen wins the league handedly, do you think it's going to do anything?
They're not, so why are we even talking about that?
I mean, they're winning right now. They're in the top league right now.
Bro, that's Bayern Munich for you, bro. They let them have some hope, and that's it.
We'll see what
if
happens.
he does win the league, then
that's what I'm trying to say.
Thing.
He's not. I don't want him.
But I don't know how you can make that assumption.
No, I mean, just because Bayern has won the last decade.
That's true. But I'm saying, if we want to say what's the movement that's going to do it, if it's Leverkusen winning the fucking
sure, it was just not going to happen. So
all right, whatever.
I mean, it's a shout. I respect that. I respect that
you're
shout.
Next, right, Brian? What's your list?
But yeah, I think with Wirtz, it's a good shout.
Okay.
I just think it's I have to poke holes at it.
I know you do.
We have to because I think those are fair questions. What do you think about Wirtz? Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think I said what I added. Okay. Like I think it's just the perception that still he feels like kind of like Sancho expectation still, and like.
You agree with me?
Yeah.
Oh, good thought, Will. Gotcha. All right, next one up.
I'm just kidding. The Sancho thing is crazy, but anyways, you throwing Sancho, that was a weird stray. You have some weird strays, by the way.
Poor Sancho.
Sometimes.
Like remember, like the Antoine Griezmann stray was so funny.
I don't remember what that was.
Mbappe.
Oh yeah. People agreed on it.
I'm a fan of
It's
him.
too
What can I
funny.
say?
All right. So what number are we on right now?
2.
We're in 2. Who's your second one?
Or third. Now it's 3.
It's third.
Yeah, because I started.
Oh, for the third one,
Oh yeah.
what we're gonna do is for part 2. So make sure to rate and subscribe. This is part 1. I hope you guys enjoy it and let us know what do you guys think about our picks. Do you agree, disagree? And make sure to tune into the next podcast for the last portion of the list.